Good day, everybody. Welcome to Make America. Now, I'm going to go through this notice of contractation. Okay. Now, I got to deal with this menial way to convey information at this point in time because everything was stolen. So, anyhow, to first get into this notice, you must understand why I chose the title. I'm not going to read this entire thing. I'm going to go slowly so you could pause it and read for yourself, and hopefully you'll be able to see the information. Okay, so here is contractation. This is a French, right, but it says Latin as in contractere, which is the Roman phrase, which means to touch or handle. So history, this is number one. I'm going through Black's Law 10th edition. This is not in the, I have the 8th edition. It's not in that edition, but contractare is in that edition. But to get the full scope of what we're dealing with, okay, you need this definition. All right. So it says number one, history, a touching or handling manipulation. 2. Civil law, the act of laying hands on another's property with the intent of taking, misappropriating, or misusing it. The handling and removal of goods in such a way as to amount to theft if they are not restored to their original place. And then this is an addition. It says the term implies greater culpability than simply taking property without the owner's permission, and under Roman law was an element of theft. Okay, and they use the word, I guess, for theft is furtum. So when you get into Black's Law, you have to understand that that book only pertains to the District of Columbia. Now I say that, okay, because in the District of Columbia, they definitely acknowledge common law, and everything that the Department of Justice does is supposed to be common law. But I've seen a lot of things that are still simulated legal practices, which apparently because people don't really fucking know the difference. All right. So with the notice of contractation, all right, this is important because we all know that they've taken our identity through our birthing records, and then as time progresses through our license, driver's license, or state ID, okay, and even a marriage license would apply, okay. So okay, everybody, anything that deals with the Social Security number. All right. Now the Social Security number and anything associated with it is a federal issue. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference if it's a state court. Doesn't make a difference if it's a county court. Doesn't make a difference if it's a traffic violation. Okay? Anything that was taken, manipulated, and handled, all right, through our Social Security account, which is the SESTA KV, and everything that everybody has ever known to discover about what I'm saying, that is all true. Okay, that is why I'm putting this together. Okay, so now you see that I use this flag, and I only use that flag because nobody has jurisdiction over that flag. I got that flag from the Title IV flag says your swag book, right? Yeah. And so it's they note it as the Sons of Liberty, and it sounds good, and boom, you got it. Okay? I'm born on the 4th of July. Everything has been stated in the Ballad of Slavery and the Ballad of Destruction. Okay? I did create that family crest right there, which is the seal. Okay? And that's appropriate to know because when I use the language such as hand and seal, then that is what you're looking at. That is your global identification, is your family crest. All right. Now, I was thinking about putting family crest together for everybody, but that would be like a whole entire business, and so I'm not really quite sure exactly where I want to go with that. But anyhow, this will be uploaded to a website that I will create. That should be done by the end of summer, you know, into August, maybe beginning of September. I'm not really sure how things will go. I have plenty of things already made. Okay, this will be an editable document. The only thing that you will have to change are the case numbers. Okay, and this doesn't just have to apply to criminal cases. All right, you can amend and you can change what needs to be changed, but if I tell you do not change it, then do not. All right, so this notice is put together for or to accompany a book that I just sent to the governor, attorney general, mayor, commander of the state police, and the commander of the sheriff. Okay, I sent that priority mail, and so obviously this will be changed by the time it, you know, gets to the website, because this is in respect to the book of Micah. That is the book I just put together for them. And the prophecy in Micah applies to all of us in America, and quite possibly everyone we're in a country where there is a central bank. Okay, because we all know this is a banking issue. Okay, yeah. So especially when in regards to feudalism and feudatorum and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And one of the longest running game shows in this country has been the Family Feud, right? Yeah. So they've been trying to tell people, just so you can get a handle on what you think you might deal with in the future when you become really awoke. So here we go. I will go through and explain certain things. All right. Let me, before I scroll anymore, I want to point in detail that all of the phrases or words that are in bold and in parentheses, those are specific legal phrases or terms, okay, that you should get into looking at. All right, especially void contracts, because it just sounds like something you can void, but basically it leans into the knowledge of understanding that it's a unilateral contract or a constructive contract. Okay, so anyhow, I'll scroll down here. I only use definitions. Okay, now every definition that I've put together in here is extremely caustic. Okay, and it doesn't make a difference to me because I've already put this on the record in courts. Okay, and also when I get into definitions, whatever is in parentheses and bold, I have added, because that is what it is. Okay, so the first one here we get to, and I'll take times in silence so you can push pause and you can read it for yourself and take notes before I even get to the website extension. So it'll be okay. All right, we're going to get through this. Don't worry about it. The first one here, Article B, the Corporate Opportunity Doctrine. Okay, I think that is in Black's Law 8th edition, but it doesn't make a difference. I have a sovereign primer put together that will have all of the definitions. It will have all of the federal codes that anyone will ever need to process this information of what I'm letting you know. Okay, and this right here is the number one issue with mishandling, misappropriating, or misusing private property. So, corporate identity doctrine. All right. This whole entire section in Article B, this may not be contained to just a definition, because things need explained. And so I did give the definition, and then I go further to explain. And that's when you see the at intervals described by state statutes, which is when you become of age to sign up for selective service or get a driver's license. Okay? My first ID was a military ID. Alrighty, when I was 17. So, the definitions in Article C here, this may have been from Webster's Dictionary, because I combined the usages of what I'm trying to apply or convey within my notice. Okay? And when you, if and when, it doesn't make a difference. Okay? I'm just doing this to let you all know. You will be able to use this and apply this, okay, if things do not change by time I'm finished. Alright? So, so it's necessary to understand exactly how the information is controlled. Alrighty? But this is exactly what it is. Absolute state authority. And you see how it's all linked, okay? And the reason, okay, it's all linked and how I have it compiled and formatted is because when I start at the top, I'm going to working my way down to the bottom, and then I'm working my way back up to the top, so you still have the finger pointed in the right direction at the people who keep fucking playing games. All right? Now, you can push mute, you can push pause, read it, and weep, is what I tell them. Yes, within Article D here, you'll see the passive and physical violence, okay? There are two types of violence. Passive violence is something that you will learn when you get into reading the books that Gandhi has written, like My Experiments with Truth. Okay, he explains what passive violence is, and I'll just give you a rough reiteration of something that we all are familiar with, or those of us that have kids or anything of the like. Okay, if your kid comes up to you and really wants a cookie, and they ask you for a cookie, and they say, please, 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 right? And you deny your kid a cookie, okay? No matter what reason. Doesn't matter if you're smiling. Doesn't matter if you're happy, joking around, doing jumping jacks and backflips, okay? You have committed an act of passive violence, okay? Passive violence is important to understand because, or reflect upon and comprehend, okay, because I don't really like using the word understand, but sometimes it comes out, right? But it's important because when we are considered as artificial persons since our first breath, and they take hold of our information that's being considered as donated information, and then as our identities are out there in the construct, okay, then at certain times, whichever, when we have needs for a public service, okay, such as food stamps or bank accounts, okay, there are things that are being done through our Sestike V Trust as far as placing values or instruments against the Sestike KV trust and set aside into separate accounts where they accrue interest at an exponential rate, but they can only extract that interest at, well, I think like every 7 years or something. It's something like that. But anyhow, that whatever they're doing is they're acting on our behalf as a presumption of power of attorney, because anyone who hasn't filed a DBA, then they already automatically have a power of attorney presumed. Okay, and they're acting under the guise that we are artificial persons. Okay, and that is significant, because artificial persons, okay, is a definition that everybody will need to know. And I don't think I get into it in this notice, but I will. Alrighty, don't worry about it. Everything is there. What I've done, what I've created, is something where they'll never be able to dig themselves out of any ditch that I have made or constructed to think that they'll be able to wiggle out of anything with plausible deniability. Okay, that's not going to happen. So there you go. Let's come on down. And with listing a bunch of these different corporations here, okay, there's going to be an affidavit to accompany this notice. So this is a notice of contractation. There will be an affidavit of contractation, because an affidavit is something that has a time limit in which they have to give a rebuttal to sort the confusion, and they only have a certain amount of days. Okay, and it goes from 30 days, 10 days to 3 days. And I only give them 10 days, right? Actually, all the stupid shit they've already done, I only give them 3 days. But all these have been on record. They haven't replied to any of them. So, but a notice is just letting you know. An affidavit is something you need to fucking pay attention to and have an argument against it. So, that will be put together within the next book, right? And so you get the quasi-corporation link or continuance down here, such as a county or school district, right? Quasi-municipal corporation. That's all part of it. That's all part of the definition. And see, you see here within Article F that I'm going back to the corporate opportunity doctrine and reflecting about the directors, officers, and shareholders, right? Breach of confidence is another definition phrase under the section of breach in the law dictionary. And so, there you go, right? That's pretty short and sweet. 4 pages. Yeah. And I misspell things. I misspell words when I'm talking stupid, like fuck you, fucking bitch, and blah, blah, blah. So, fuckwads, right? I take letters out that are important, that reflect to religion, like C, T, okay? Yeah, because T is supposed to be a symbol for the cross, right? C is an application to Christ, and so forth and so on, right? I'm not religious. My family is my religion, and the Declaration of Independence is my Bible, and this is what I tell everybody. Okay, so when we get down here to the signature block, right there under respectful. That's a digital thumbprint, and I put that within each document. I did that because I didn't have access to an ink pad, but now I've got an ink pad, and so I just put all these together and I leave them the way they are when I print them out, and then I just go back and I put a thumbprint, a red ink pad. Okay, I put a thumbprint right on the by Michael James Cable. This is how you sign. This is everything you sign. If it's your driver's license, you put by, okay, and you use the format with what I just showed, with what you see, okay, because when you put the words by in front of your signature, okay, you are claiming authorship, or you're claiming an action through authorship. Okay, all this is important. Now, the UCC 1-103.6, that is something where everything must be done under common law, and I really had to dig and go through some things, and it was just by chance or happenstance that I was able to find the information about 1-103.6, because you can Google it and you'll never really find the definition. So or the applicable statute that'll explain what they're talking about, right? You'll never find it. So so that is what it has to do with, is common law. Now, if anybody has a problem with actually realizing what common law is, okay, in your state capitol building, okay, there will be a law library, and then you will go into that law library, and they will have clerks at that library, right? And they will explain to you, yes, this is common law, okay? And here where I'm at, I went there, and the lady said, yeah, we have a computer over here, and you can pretty much print out everything that you want about common law for free. And everything that's in a book, you have to pay $1 per page. And so that's really fun to figure out, isn't it? All right, people. This is going to conclude this notice of contractation, right? And it's important to really realize what you're dealing with, and the future will change. We just have to be the change. And you'll also find that discovery in my experiments with truth, a book by Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. I wish you all the best, and take care and good luck.